We live in interesting times. Today's stories. Thousands of Russians protest against pension age hike. Catalan ex-leader vows to pursue independence bid. Several wildfires continue to ravage California. Lawyer in search for truth over President Trump's hush money. Plus, a Florida mobile home community benefits from the Iglesia ni Cristo's Aid for Humanity. Hello everyone, I'm Ace Ramirez, bringing you stories from around the globe. And this is Eagle News, Washington, D.C. Tens of thousands of Russians took part Saturday in rallies across the country organized by communists to protest against highly controversial plans to hike the pension age. In Moscow, organizers said up to 100,000 people gathered for a permitted rally against the government-backed reform, which is currently going through parliament. However, observers put the turnout much lower. Protests took place in dozens of cities and towns in far eastern Russia and Siberia. Citing City Hall, TASS state news agency reported around 1,200 people rallied in the Siberian city of Novosibirsk. Demonstrators in Moscow chanted "Pension off Putin" and carried banners with slogans including, and I quote, "We want to live on our own pensions and not die at work." The rare show of public opposition to a reform backed by President Vladimir Putin's ruling party has seen 2,009 million sign a protest petition, and the often compliant Communist Party vote against it. According to VTSIOM state pollster, Putin, who did not mention the pension issue ahead of his re-election in March, has seen public trust in his presidency fall to 64% this month, down from 80% in May. The draft law calls for the pension age to be gradually raised to 63 for women and 65 for men, up from the current Soviet-era norms of 55 for women and 60 for men. Putin last week said he disliked the idea of raising the pension age, but that doing nothing was not an option, adding, and I quote, "We will have to take some crucial decisions." Communist Party leader Gennady Zyuganov told the Moscow rally tens of thousands have gathered here to say no to this pension reform. He said, and I quote, "This is a blow to every citizen in our country." Currently, Russian men on average die in their early 60s, Zyuganov said, and they will all get their pension in their coffins. The Speaker of the lower house of parliament, representing Putin's United Russia ruling party, said Friday that such protests were pointless. Catalonia's deposed President Carles Puigdemont vowed Saturday to defend the just cause of the Catalan people as he returned to Belgium. 4 months after he was detained in Germany at Madrid's request, Puigdemont was able to travel to Belgium after a Spanish court dropped a European arrest warrant for him.
No hi ha ni un sol motiu, cap de justícia, ni de política, ni de democràcia, que justifiqui que passin un sol minut més a les presons. No els volem a les presons de casa, els volem a casa.
He was joined at the news conference by his designated successor Quim Torra, who still considers him the legitimate president of Catalonia. Puigdemont was later greeted by around 300 supporters when he traveled south of the Belgian capital to the town of Waterloo, known for another battle, French Emperor Napoleon's defeat by a mix of European forces in 1815. The 55-year-old former regional leader intends to set up a Republican council at his Waterloo base to continue to fight for Catalan independence, as well as an assembly composed of local officials to work in parallel with the Catalan government. Puigdemont said in Berlin when he announced his return earlier this week, his political activity will be based in Belgium, of course with the aim of pursuing the mandate by the people for an independent Catalonia. Sacked as Catalan president after a failed succession bid on October 27, Puigdemont and several members of his executive fled to Brussels several days later. He was then arrested in Germany at the end of March on his return from a trip to Finland. Up next, several wildfires continue to ravage California. Lawyer in search for truth over President Trump's hush money. Eagle News, Washington, D.C. will return in a moment.
Hello everybody, my name is Sheena and this is downtown Tampa. We are today at Tampa's Riverwalk, a trail that leads to so many downtown destinations such as Tampa's Museum of Art, Glazer's Children's Museum, and Rivergate Tower. But there's so much more to the Riverwalks, from playgrounds to restaurants. So while you're planning your vacation to Tampa Bay, make sure to watch Digital Nest on YouTube or Net25 live stream every Tuesday and Thursday at 7:30 p.m. I'm Sheena Fernandez, your Florida Bureau correspondent, and I am 125.
Eagle News teams are fair.
Sa impeachment complaint laban kay Supreme Court Chief Justice Maria Lourdes Sereno, ang ilang maestra
ang rekomendasyon na makasuhan ang mga sangkot kasama na ang mga opisyal ng customs.
Hardworking.
Papaunlad ng isang bata na magiging isang future youth leaders.
Dedicated.
Sa nasawi ay dito natagpuan yung bangkay.
Yung kanilang paraan ng pag-aalaga ng mga may sakit na leprosy noong unang panahon.
Committed to public service.
Ang chairmanship ng ASEAN sa bansang Singapore.
Marami yung mga biktima ng mga nawawala. Mamambahan ng Bureau of Customs na nasa merkado na yung mga pinaking produkto.
Sa kapila ng mga kilos protesta na nanatiling
dahil sa mabilis na pagresponde ng mga pamatay sunog, ang apoy mabilis na
nakaroon ng equal opportunity ang ibang mga kababaihan.
Kayahan ng mga kabataan at ipinakita sa pamagitan ng kanilang mga likha.
Nanatiling kulang pa rin ang tubig para sa irigasyon, para sa pagtatanim ng ating mga kababayang magsasaka.
As we live in interesting times.
Letters and Music, Lunes hanggang Biyernes, 1:00 hanggang 2:00 ng hapon.
Welcome back. You're watching Eagle News, Washington, D.C. Thousands of people in Southern California had fled a deliberately set blaze southeast of Los Angeles by Saturday morning, after the state's governor requested federal aid to help battle a deadly fire elsewhere. A blaze known as the Cranston Fire and the Northern California Car Fire, in which 2 firefighters have lost their lives, are among the most serious of several blazes burning in the most populous U.S. state. A third major blaze, the Ferguson Fire, has encroached upon the Yosemite National Park in Central California, forcing the partial closure of the popular attraction and leading to the death of a firefighter several days ago. The U.S. Forest Service said more than 1,300 firefighters were battling the fast-moving Cranston Fire, which began on Wednesday and forced the evacuation of about 7,000 people. It added that the hazards created by Cranston and another fire caused the temporary closure of all U.S. Forest Service lands within the Santa Rosa and San Jacinto Mountains National Monument. A 32-year-old man has been arrested and charged with 15 arson counts, including for the Cranston fire. California's Office of Emergency Services warned, and I quote, "Fire dangers continue to rise throughout California. Make sure your family and friends are prepared to evacuate. Be alert." Governor Jerry Brown on Friday asked for federal assistance to save lives and to protect property, his office said in a statement. The statement said he asked for help including military aircraft, shelter supplies, and water for 30,000 evacuated residents in Shasta County in north central California, where the Carr fire has grown uncontrollably. Brown declared a state of emergency in Shasta and ordered National Guard forces to assist the 3,400 fire personnel already trying to contain the Carr fire, which has destroyed 500 structures and more than 48,000 acres. On Friday, an official announced the death of a firefighter battling the inferno. A spokesman for CAL FIRE, the state's Department of Forestry and Fire Protection, said 2 firefighters have been killed in the Carr fire. A private contractor operating a bulldozer died yesterday, and a Redding City firefighter was killed in the evening. CAL FIRE had announced hours earlier the death of the bulldozer driver. Brett Govea, a CAL FIRE commander, said the Carr fire outside Redding swept across a river late Thursday and engulfed the western part of the city of 90,000 people. Scott McLean, a spokesman for the department, said law enforcement colleagues were doing evacuations as fast as they can because the fire was moving so fast. He said, and I quote, "There have been some injuries to civilians and firefighters." CAL FIRE said on its website, continued hot, dry weather is forecasted for the remainder of the weekend with triple-digit temperatures. The winds, high temperatures, and dry vegetation still have the potential to fuel fire growth. Last year was the worst on record for wildfire devastation in California, with more than 40 deaths and around 9,000 structures destroyed, following fires that ravaged the Napa and Sonoma wine regions. Michael Avenatti, the lawyer for adult film actress Stormy Daniels, claimed Friday that he was representing 3 more women paid hush money to conceal affairs with Donald Trump. Avenatti tweeted, 3 additional women all paid hush money through various means. In a reference to Trump's former personal attorney, he said, "Time for Michael Cohen and Donald Trump to come 100% clean with the American people." Avenatti said, "All the documents, all the tapes, now, no more lies or lip service." Avenatti, speaking to reporters Thursday night in Los Angeles, said the 3 women were paid hush money prior to the 2016 election. Daniels, whose real name is Stephanie Clifford, is suing President Trump to invalidate a non-disclosure agreement that prevents her from discussing their alleged intimate relationship that began in 2006. Cohen, Trump's attorney, paid Daniels $130,000 just days before the presidential election in exchange for her silence. A recording surfaced this week of Trump and Cohen discussing how to buy the rights to the story to another woman, a Playboy model who claims she had an affair with Trump in 2006. Cohen, who no longer works for Trump, is under investigation in New York for his business dealings and reportedly whether hush payments violated campaign finance laws. The tape involves Karen McDougal, a former Playboy model, who says she had a months-long fling with Trump after they met in 2006. On the tape, Trump and Cohen talk about buying the rights to McDougal's story, which she had sold to the National Enquirer for $150,000. The tabloid never published the story. A Florida mobile home community benefits from the Iglesia ni Cristo's Aid for Humanity. That's next. Eagle News, Washington, D.C. will return shortly.
Know the latest news and information here and abroad. In Aguila, Balita, track the latest happenings in the provinces in Aguila, Provincia. Be aware of important events in Asia, in ASEAN in Focus, and be updated in the biggest news around the world in Eagle News International. Tune into Mata ng Aguila and get the day's headlines and news that are sharp, accurate, and objective. Only here at Net 25. As Eagle Broadcasting Corporation marks its 50th year, it is conducting several activities under the theme EBC Cares, enabling a better community. Health and nutrition are key factors in child's learning and well-being. EBC's feeding program encourages the community to combat malnutrition among children and ensure them a healthy future. EBC's cleanup drive and citronella planting hopes to help the community in caring for environment and preventing diseases such as dengue. EBC's public service program, Paglilingkod sa Bayan, Serbisyo para sa Mamamayan, has opened its doors to government agencies so more people can avail of these services. EBC's blood donation program and medical mission continue to spearhead life-saving projects, and EBC's livelihood seminar teaches and guides those who want to have additional income and business. EBC Cares, serving the people in these interesting times.
Pet News, Linggo, alas 4 hanggang alas 5 ng hapon.
This is Eagle News, Washington, D.C. I am Ace Ramirez. As part of its 104th anniversary and its 50th year of mission in the West celebrations, the Iglesia ni Cristo sponsors outreach events worldwide. In Florida, a mobile home community benefits from INC's Aid for Humanity. Jay Rosquites reports.
Did you know that Florida has more mobile homes over any other state in the USA? With about 820,000 mobile homes, it's no wonder that Florida is the so-called retirement state. However, not all mobile homes are inhabited by retirees. Many Floridians have occupied them due to lower income or have become poverty-stricken. For some medically ill and injury-ridden residents, they have been granted government assistance. But because of the small support, they looked elsewhere.
I'm not real thrilled with the government.
Yeah.
I was a nurse's aide there, but then I went to school here and did respiratory therapy. And then I got hurt, so 7 back surgeries later, I didn't do anything, you know. I was on disability.
The worldwide religious organization, the Iglesia ni Cristo, or Church of Christ, has reached out to the residents in Florida by launching the Aid to Humanity project, which aims to assist those in need. And here in St. Petersburg, the local INC congregations made their presence known. The mobile park community of Park Haven has benefited from the Aid to Humanity.
They like reaching out to people, and you know, they're willing to help people more than anything. You know, whatever you're going through, they've probably already been through it, or might be going through it in later events. And but otherwise, they're very caring. They care for each individual.
The INC volunteers were able to give free health checkups, free food parcels, and entertainment.
They came here, of all places, they chose our park. So it's kind of special that they should choose us. Yes, I understand they're only across the street or so, but still, it benefits us residents here. And I think it's a very good thing that they're able to give away, offer food, and a church service at the same time.
Reporting from St. Petersburg, Florida, I'm Jay Rasquitas, always one with 25.
Thank you, Jay. That is today's Eagle News, Washington, D.C. Join us tomorrow for stories that matter to you. Visit our website at eaglenews.ph and eaglenewslive.com. Like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter at twitter.com/eaglenewsph. Thank you for watching. I'm Ace Ramirez, I'm 1 with 25.